I am glad to welcome everyone. You're watching Who's Who. Today we have a long-awaited confrontation with the participation of female characters. Scarlet Witch vs Dark Phoenix. Put likes and subscribe to the channel. Scarlet Witch, aka Wanda Maximoff, a Marvel character, a participant in the cinematic universe. Due to the release of the first WandaVision series, and then the second part of the film Doctor Strange the Multiverse of Madness, the abilities of the Scarlet Witch were finally shown more fully than before. It is also curious that now Wanda has begun to turn from a conditionally positive character into a real anti-heroine. Dark Phoenix, aka Jean Grey, is a Marvel character, a member of the X-Men. Actually, it stands out because it has a very high potential, but at the same time it is not able to control it normally. In a way, the characters are similar to this. At some point, their outstanding abilities begin, for one reason or another, to pose a threat not only to others, but in general almost to the entire planet, and even the universe. To begin with, let's compare the dimensions of the heroines, as well as their equipment. The actress who played the role of the Scarlet Witch is 170 centimeters tall, weighs 58 kilograms. While the performer of the role of Jean Grey reaches 175 centimeters in height, the weight is 60 kilograms. As we can see, the Dark Phoenix is slightly taller and heavier than its rival. However, it is absolutely obvious that physical characteristics and anthropometric data are unlikely to play a particularly important role today. As for costumes and equipment, it is also secondary in general and does not affect anything. Let's try to consider the Force. In fact, neither Jean Grey nor Wanda Maximoff use force in the usual sense, that is, some conditionally simple hand strike will still be accompanied by some magical energy. Therefore, in this case, in almost all points, it is necessary to compare the magical, mental and energy capabilities of the heroines themselves. After all, everything will depend on them in essence. The first thing that catches your eye is that both Wanda and Jean are able to use quite powerful telekinesis in a rage. The Dark Phoenix can manipulate people, make them move, stop and generally fly away from her with great force. In addition, she could operate an entire train. The Scarlet Witch is also able to easily cope with people and creatures of human build and size. It can lift huge layers of earth and keep them in the air. In fact, it is quite difficult to understand who will overpower whom here, given that this is clearly not the limit of their capabilities. It can also be noted that Dark Phoenix was able to overpower Magneto, who, in principle, had extremely large-scale skills. On the other hand, the Scarlet Witch could still hold Thanos himself in the Avengers, who, even without Infinity Stones, was by no means weak, and even with stones in general, was formidable. No matter how cool Magneto is, still Thanos seems to be a much more dangerous opponent, and probably here you can make a preponderance in the direction of the Scarlet Witch. Levitation can also be mentioned. According to what was shown in the films, it is difficult to draw conclusions. Both the Scarlet Witch and the Dark Phoenix rise quite freely into the air, hang there and are capable of some maneuvers. Perhaps Phoenix showed a little more, because almost in a matter of seconds she could be in space. On the other hand, Wanda most likely can do the same. It's probably worth mentioning that the Scarlet Witch was able to navigate through various universes in the multiverse. Of course, there are some difficulties here, and formally she moves only mentally, not physically. But nevertheless, this is a very powerful ability. Few people can boast of such power. Dark Phoenix just didn't show that. If we talk about durability, then in general, both heroines are not particularly susceptible to serious damage. They are at such a high level that personal security is somehow out of the question. Rather, one can recall how the same Dark Phoenix created all sorts of protective fields and ensured the safety of the X-Men. The Scarlet Witch can also put up certain barriers that few things can break through. It may be recalled that when she manipulated the whole city, it was very difficult to get out or enter there. There is also another curious and similar point. This is the power of intellectual abilities. Back in the Age of Ultron, the Scarlet Witch showed how she could penetrate the consciousness of the Avengers and put some kind of visions into their minds. Considering that the Avengers are a priori not some random people with weak will who are easy to subdue, this achievement already looks good. But, as we remember, in the WandaVision series, the Scarlet Witch could capture the minds of the inhabitants of an entire city, and this is really powerful. In addition, she defeated another powerful witch, Agatha Harkness. The Dark Phoenix is also considered an extremely powerful character in the aspect of telepathic influence. Initially, even Professor Xavier himself had great difficulties with her. And, in fact, Xavier is considered by many sources to be the most powerful telepath on Earth. One way or another, but later, when Jean Grey had already matured, she was quite easily able to overcome the professor mentally. Having gained her power, Grey became so powerful that Xavier was not even able to read her thoughts, let alone control her. Nevertheless, Wanda's achievements seemed to be more significant. It should also be added that in the sequel to Doctor Strange, the Scarlet Witch could capture the consciousness of her other versions in other universes. In addition, it turned out that she also met Professor Xavier on her way. As in the case of the Dark Phoenix, the professor was defeated quite easily. Admittedly, Xavier is just a little weak for such rivals. But at the same time, the Dark Phoenix in fact mentally overpowered only him, and the Scarlet Witch fought with various powerful characters who, in addition to telepathy, had all sorts of different magic. The same Doctor Strange could not resist her normally. Agatha Harkness, an ancient sorceress, completely lost. And even before the full disclosure of her abilities, Wanda could penetrate the consciousness of Thor, the god of thunder. All this taken together clearly looks more convincing than the victory of the Dark Phoenix over the unfortunate Professor Xavier. Of course, many cite as an argument in favor of the victory of Jean Grey in fact, the cosmic essence of the Phoenix. They say that she is a priori superior to the Scarlet Witch. There is also an interesting gradation of character levels. It turns out that nominally Wanda is an Omega-level mutant. Jean Grey is also an Omega-level mutant. At the same time, she overcame the Apocalypse, which, in turn, was not lower than the Omega level. Well, after becoming a Dark Phoenix, Jin certainly became even more powerful and even higher in level. According to this logic, she should be stronger and cooler than the Scarlet Witch. But the problem is that in the film adaptations there is not such a strong emphasis on these very levels. Therefore, we cannot fully rely on this. If you look exactly at what was shown, then the Scarlet Witch is still cooler. Even just by the level of opponents. Dark Phoenix is stronger than all the X-Men. She also won, well, or played an important role in defeating the Apocalypse. Well, she also destroyed some aliens in her solo film. All these opponents threatened the maximum planet Earth. While Wanda showed a larger scale of action. In fact, she herself is a threat of a higher level than those whom Jean defeated. Wanda somehow moves between universes. She could resist the Infinity Stones. The Scarlet Witch destroyed one of the stones, simultaneously restraining Thanos. And subsequently, she almost killed the Titan alone. In the battle with the alternate Captain Marvel, she also emerged victorious. That's why the Scarlet Witch is winning today. Perhaps the whole point here is that she was better and more revealed in films, showed more abilities. But this is no longer our problem, but the problem of developers. The fact that the powerful cosmic entity that merged with Jean Grey did not really show anything even in a solo film is a flaw of the creators of the film adaptation. Well, now we have your favorite heading guess the hero. In the last issue, a four-armed monster from the Star Wars universe was made. The correct answers are on your screen. If you guessed who is depicted in the picture this time, write in the comments. That's all for today, thank you for your attention. Put likes and subscribe to the channel.